Happy Halloween! Yes, that is Nala that you hear in the background. I'm doing a little scary music collab with her with Langston's keyboard. So today is Halloween, and I got a nice little haul of candy at the dollar store and some little googly eye glasses for Franklin actually to take to school if he's feeling better today. So this is October 31st, 2019, and I am prepared to testify on Capitol Hill. I am the whistleblower. So that's my costume for today. So my Halloween costume actually is the reason why I had to take my braids out and transition my hair, because I am guessing that the whistleblower in real life does not have braids. So anyways, that's why this unit honestly is already starting to itch. Like wigs kind of bother me after a few days, but I am definitely going to stick with this through Halloween because that was supposed to go along with my costume, of course, being the whistleblower and all. So as a kid growing up, I did not celebrate Halloween. I wasn't allowed to. It was considered kind of like the devil's holiday, and I was raised in a very religious household, and I actually didn't even celebrate. We weren't allowed to celebrate Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or anything like that. So holidays were always kind of a little bit of a drag because the other kids at school were obviously celebrating and seemed to be having a great time. But when you're raised with that level of like very conservative religion and the sense of like hell and punishment and damnation, I mean, that kind of creates like a mindset of fear. So I feel like I had a lot of anxiety over Halloween as a kid, and also kind of felt like I was missing out. So when I have my own kids, the beauty of that is that you get to choose what to expose your kids to, and I really wanted to give my kids that experience of having fun, waiting for Santa to deliver the presents, trick-or-treating, dressing up. Franklin's been kind of like the most Halloween oriented out of my three kids. He definitely loves to dress up, loves to role play. Well, he did love to role play. He still does. He wants to be an actor. So there you have it. Now Isaiah, his favorite holiday, I would say, is Christmas. He loves Christmas jazz and Christmas music. That's just his thing. And it was so annoying because I'm not into Christmas music. So it was always like, every morning when he was getting ready for school, there'd be Christmas music going in the house, like starting in November. I mean, he started early on the Christmas music game. So anyway, but you love your kids. So again, you want them to have their fun. Franklin, always want to go trick-or-treating, and it was so cold. And speaking of which, it is, 23 degrees here. So yeah, 23 degrees is just not Fahrenheit. For those of you who are international, don't, think that's Celsius or something. So 23 degrees is so cold. I do not want to go wandering the streets. And, but Franklin, back when he was trick-or-treating, when he was little, he liked to go trick-or-treating. So I would actually put him in, whatever costume he had to have on a full pajama, like with the, underneath a full head to toe pajamas, with the feet in them and all that stuff. So whatever costume, like superhero costumes and stuff like that could fit over pajamas with the feet in them, then he was just bundled up, because you can't really put a coat over top your costume, or it kind of like ruins the costume. So we would bundle underneath of the costumes. So I remember that. And then like Langston is the most chocolate oriented. He might not like to trick or treat or be in big crowds, but he loves his chocolate. So I've got some chocolate, and I think we're going to skip the trick or treating. Although if you see the blue Halloween buckets, if you have trick or treaters come to knock on your door and they have blue Halloween buckets, that would likely be a kid with autism or a nonverbal kid. And those blue buckets just kind of lets you know, so you don't have, you don't have to prompt them to answer your questions or give feedback or whatever. Just give them a warm smile, give them some candy, make it, as easy as possible for their little experience, because trick-or-treating and stuff like that, sometimes it's just harder for kids who have like a heightened sensory awareness, and kids with autism, again, with like some of that social resistance, being around other people and chaos and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you a few costumes that Franklin dressed up as over the years, and then I'm also going to just kind of show you like what we're doing today for Halloween. So Franklin loved Garfield. He had a Garfield phase, so he painted the pumpkin Garfield. He had Garfield. This year he went as that little red guy in the Hercules movie. I think there are two little guys, Panic and Pain, and so I think this was Pain. And this is the year he went as good old Spider-Man. You can see he's in the actual pose, ready to jump. And these are his pirate and skeleton versions. And then, of course, he would always just role play with anything. This is Legoland with Harry Potter. He would always jump into form. I also love to make carameled apples. This is a really old picture of some carameled apples I made a long time ago when he was little. But just looking at it made me think like, oh, gotta do carameled apples. So again, Franklin this year dressed up as a sexy lumberjack last weekend because he actually had a Halloween party that he got invited to last minute, and he happened to be wearing a flannel shirt, and so he decided to just kind of like unbutton it and roll up the sleeves, and had a like little gold chain, and I don't know. He said he went as a sexy lumberjack. I don't really know what that looked like, but he improvised, which he gets that from his mom probably. But yeah, he went last year as he and his friends did a this is a high school version of Magic Mike, I guess. I don't know. They had like bow ties, no shirts, black pants, I think, I'm not sure. And then he wore like a Jerry curl wig, and it was, he was just, they had a good time. So he still dresses up for Halloween, although he does not go trick-or-treating. And Langston this year is going to be my attorney because I'm the whistleblower. I need an attorney. Like once I disclose my identity, I've got to have an attorney, right? So we're doing a little bit of a pair of costumes. But the other thing is that because he does have kind of an aversion to masks and hats and a lot of things that are costume oriented, because Langston does not like things to be different. So he doesn't like to put on anything that's not like clothing. So I thought I'll just dress him up in his dapper little vest and bow tie, and, give him a little briefcase, which can be kind of similar to his backpack. And I think that will work really well. We'll just get a couple pictures. I'll show you, he looks cute in anything, but sometimes if you just have an outfit that is special or a little different than the everyday, you can kind of tweak it into a costume or theme, especially if you have another person involved, like me, being the whistleblower, then that would make sense for him to be my attorney and just wear, basically picture day clothes or formal wear. So again, if you do see those blue buckets with the trick-or-treaters tonight, make sure that, you make their experience as calm and, like unstressful as you can. So a lot of times with kids with sensory processing, just, like if you have big machines that are like going off and scaring everybody or whatever, like sometimes that would kind of set off certain kids. So, just if you do see those blue buckets, give them a bunch of candy so they don't have to go to a whole lot of houses, and they can still go home and have their little experience. So autism awareness is again, with those little blue buckets. That's kind of like what that is. The color blue and a puzzle piece is one of the symbols of autism, the autism spectrum or autism spectrum disorder, or a kid on the spectrum. People kind of have different labels, but for sure, just, you can make a sensory-friendly Halloween experience with those, blue buckets, just to like let people know that your kid has that diagnosis and they might want things toned down just a little bit so they can kind of, cope with it a little better. So anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and happy Halloween. So this is actually a costume I did one year. I went as Batwoman or Catwoman. I don't even know for sure what I was doing. You gotta appreciate the music collab. I was using Langston's little keyboard, and Nala chimed in, so I did a collab with Nala for the intro music, and this is my collab with Langston for the outro music. Happy Halloween, everyone!